are officially live. Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful people of YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Livy, which you probably already know because you are at my channel. So anyway, super excited tonight. We're going to do another live authors chat. And tonight I have the lovely Willowy Whisper with me who, oh my goodness, she has like the cutest pen name ever. It's totally adorable. So welcome to our chat. I'm so excited to have you here tonight.
Glad to be here.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share the link in a couple of places just so that we can let more viewers know about it and invite people to join us. But if you want to go ahead and kind of introduce yourself to the viewers, maybe let people know like how many books you've written and kind of what your books are about, and just let people know about that.
So I started writing when I was like 12 years old. I wrote my first novel and published it.
And you
And
were 12? That's amazing.
I have written 7 novels. 6 of those are self-published. And I'm currently writing my 8th novel, and it is the 3rd in the trilogy that I'm writing. So,
Wow,
yeah.
that is amazing. So what would you say, I'm still posting the link, so I'm going to keep you talking for a little bit.
Okay.
So what would you say your favorite thing is about writing?
I love it's like reading a book and watching a movie, but so much better because you can have anything you want happen and you can do whatever you want, and it's just like you can just like have everything you want to ever happen, like it can actually happen, you know? And it's
Right, and you have control over it.
yeah.
So that's really cool. One of my favorite quotes, I forget who said it. Oh goodness, here I am trying to multitask again, posting 2 things at once, talking to you and posting at the same time. But one of my, I don't remember who said it, but they said that if you don't like the books that you see on the shelf, then you should write them. And so I think that's a really cool quote to go by and stuff. So yeah, so for those of you who are joining in, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We're super excited. We want to answer your questions. I want to let you guys know that in the question box, if you're on YouTube right now, you can see the little question box and you can say, hey, and talk to each other and ask us questions. So we'll start taking your questions soon. So you guys think of some good questions for us. It can literally be about anything. It can be about writing or even just like fun stuff just to get to know us better. And we want to get to know you guys better too. So I actually had a couple questions that I got earlier. I asked some of my friends and people on Facebook if they had any questions they wanted to submit. And so I got a couple interesting ones. So I'm going to go ahead and get you started on one of the questions while I'm still posting the links. So I'll go ahead and open up the question. They were pretty interesting. I got some interesting questions. I'll start with this one. I thought this was cute. Okay, let me find it. It's here on my phone. It says, if you could date one of your fictional characters, which one would you choose and why? So I think that's a great question for you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta think about that for a second. Probably, probably Brock Sumner in the trilogy that I've written.
Okay.
He's just, I don't know, he's dreamy and kind and gentle and, you know,
Yeah.
everything a girl wants.
Oh, totally. That's awesome. So you said he's in your trilogy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you want to explain for people who maybe have never heard of you and have no idea what your trilogy is about? I want to give them a little, what's the right word? I know that as authors, it's always really hard to express like what your book is about, but if you want to share a little bit, basically what it's about.
Right. So it's called the Hills of Innocence trilogy, and it starts out with The Innocent, which is about this man that finds a dead body of a woman, and he starts like she had her horse and her belongings there, so he tries to return them. Well, he ends up they end up finding him with her things, and they accuse him of the murder. So like the whole book is about him trying to prove his innocence. And
Okay.
in the book, Brock, the guy I mentioned earlier, his fiance was the one that had gotten killed. But
Oh, wow.
so he's a suspect for in the beginning, and So in the end, like, it ends up coming out that he's innocent, you know. I don't want
Uh-huh.
to give too much, but so
Yeah.
the second book is about Brock, and he ends up meeting somebody new, and like there's several different stories going on at once on the letter. It's the second one.
Uh-huh.
It brings in Brock's brother, which is on the run against from the law, and then Brock, the title of it, the letter, like it comes from like Brock is a rancher, and he keeps getting like these letters that are real just like weird and creepy, and
Oh,
every
wow.
letter something really bad happens.
Yeah.
So but anyways, so that's what the second one's about. And the
Uh-huh.
third one that I'm writing now, it is about Brock's brother that was in the second one, and then another character that was in the letter, and it kind of like it's got two different stories going on at once, but
Okay.
I haven't finished it.
Wow. That sounds seriously so fascinating. And you do Christian fiction, right? So they're
Yeah.
kind of, they have the Christian themes in them. And yeah, it's still like a really exciting storyline and stuff. So that's so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and check our comment section and see what you guys are saying. Who is here with us tonight? We have Lex, green is the best color. She says, hey. Bethany says, hey. Lover of Jesus, who is Caitlin? She says, hi. Caitlin wants to ask, what is your name and how old are you? So Willie, that's I think a question for you because she already knows she already knows me. So.
My name is Hannah, and I'm 18.
Yeah, 18. Very cool. Okay, so Beth says writing is fun. Bethany says, what are the names of Willow's books? So you've got a lot of books. So is there like an easy place that they can just go to look at all of them because you've written a ton of books?
On my blog.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so what's
whisper.com.
WillowyWhisper.com. Okay. So you guys, she seriously has the cutest pen name ever. Like Willowy Whisper, that is just adorable. I love it. So that's awesome. So for those of you who are just joining in, feel free to ask questions. We're just going to hang out, answer your questions tonight. I have a couple of questions from people that I got earlier, but we would love to hear your questions here in the comments. So Hannah says, what is the hardest part of being an author?
I would have to say when somebody critiques your work is
Mm-hmm.
probably hard.
Yes, we were just talking about this the other night on
Right.
We were talking about when you get those bad reviews and
Right.
negativity, and it's a challenge because you like pour your heart and soul into your project, and then when somebody doesn't like it, it's pretty discouraging.
Right.
So I would say that definitely, I would agree, that would certainly be the most challenging thing about being an author. So Lover of Jesus says, I'm going to have to check out your books now. So she's going to go do that. That's awesome. Lex says, this is Alex, just in case you forgot. So we have Alex here. We've got Bethany. Bethany says, I need a pen name that includes Beth. Any ideas for her pen name?
What?
Her name is Bethany. And so she said, I need a pen name that includes Beth in it. Any ideas for my pen name? You obviously came up with a really cute and creative one. How did you come up with your name?
Actually, when I was like 12, I opened my first email account, and I wanted something that was sounded kind of romantic and kind of cute. So I went into my bookshelf and just started reading the titles and stuff of the books, and I saw something about a willow tree. I can't remember now what it was, but like I just kind of started thinking about it and came up with Willowy Whisper, you know.
Yes.
And then it kind of just stuck, like with everything, like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so pretty. Like, it's just a really elegant, it sounds like a wonderful author name. When I first discovered you, I actually connected with her on Goodreads, which if you guys are not on Goodreads and you enjoy reading, or you're an author, you guys need to get on Goodreads because it's seriously so much fun. I've been able to connect with some lovely people there. And so if you, so I connected with her on Goodreads, and when I first saw your name, I thought that was like your actual name, like your birth name. And I was like, oh my goodness, like you were destined to be an author, to have a name that beautiful. So that's really fun. Okay, so Lover of Jesus says, that's hard, but it's helpful in the long run. Let's see. Okay, so the girls are just kind of talking to each other because I can't really keep up with their conversation. Because most of these girls actually know each other, which is fun. So yeah, let me scroll down, see if you guys have any other questions. I'm going to look in my questions that I got earlier and see. Oh, and did you get any questions? Because I know that you posted asking
I didn't.
for questions. Okay. All right. So let's see. Here's a good one. At what point in your novel, you can choose whichever novel you want, did you come to the actual realization or the feeling of, yes, I'm an author and this is real? Like, when was that point for you that you really, truly felt like an author?
I'm trying to think. Maybe.
You started so young.
Probably maybe my third book. Like, at that point, like, it was more like everything was more official, you know, and I just felt like I was getting better. Like when I first started out, like it was a little bit rough around the edges, you know.
Yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
by the third book, like I was getting more to, you know, doing my paragraphs right and all that. You know?
Yes.
I was learning a lot more.
Making those good improvements. And we were also talking about this last night with you having started when you were so young. And obviously you've improved so much over the years and everything. And what do you remember the very first story that you wrote? What was it about? Do you remember?
I know I wrote some in school. Probably one of the first ones that I remember writing and I was really little was something about a girl named White Snow. Like I flipped the Snow White and did it backwards or something. And I remember her in this cabin and sitting by a fire. That's basically all I remember. That's the earliest I can remember.
That's really cute. That's adorable. The first
But,
oh, go ahead.
Before I wrote my first novel, I went through a stage where I wrote, like, which is really odd. I know, like it's strange, but this is really how my writing began.
Okay, we're getting the true story.
I started writing wanted posters, and like I just like say like wanted dead or alive, and like I would give the description of the criminal and like what they've done and everything, and
okay.
yeah, I did kind of those, and that's kind of how it started because my mom was like, you know, you got imagination, so.
Yes, that's so cool. It's cool that it kind of started with that's like kind of what you're writing about now is those mysteries and the crimes and who did what and everything. And so also for those of you who don't know, it's like set in a Western time period. So if you're into like historical fiction and the Wild West, then you definitely should check out her books. So are your books just on Kindle or do you have them in print too?
I have them in print too.
Okay, awesome.
They're not sell through Amazon through print. It's actually, you can find the links on my blog. But
okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So for those of you who are joining in, maybe you're watching and you don't have a YouTube account and you're like, I would love to talk and ask questions, but I don't know how. Well, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me, which is at Livy Lynn Glitter Girl, and you can send me questions on there. If you want to send a direct message, we'll take those questions too, or otherwise, I'm not on Twitter right now. Otherwise, I'd say you could send them on Twitter. But so yeah, if you guys want to send questions there, if you're watching and not on YouTube. Okay, so here's a random question that really doesn't have anything to do with writing, but it's a good question. Bethany asks, do you guys like OBB? Which is, I think is a band, I'm pretty sure. So do you know who that is or?
No.
No. That's what a lot of the girls are saying. Like they're like, who is that?
Right.
I think we interviewed them for the magazine, and then I think they were at Caleb too. So I kind of know of them, but I don't really like listen to their music that much or anything. So I do know who they are, but I'm not really like listening to them a lot. So that's a good question for you. What is your favorite like your favorite bands, artists? Like, do you listen to music or what's your favorite?
I mostly listen to Christian, and then I like Irish, Scottish sounding music.
Oh yeah.
And then I do listen to oldies, so.
Oh, fun. That's really cool. Yeah. So what about you girls who are watching? Who are your favorite bands and artists? Be sure to comment in our comment section. Lover of Jesus, or I'm sorry, Hannah says, what is your favorite song? Oh my goodness. That is seriously such a hard question. Like, I feel like my favorite song changes pretty much every day. But for today, I love everything by Wow, I'm totally blanking. What are their names? They're like Bethel Worship. I forget. They have a lot of different artists under them. But I love a lot of their worship music. It's really good. And I think my favorite song right now is probably You Came. And it's actually like about Lazarus and kind of like it's a song written from Lazarus' perspective, like from being dead and then having Jesus wake him up. So it's like it's a really creative song. So I think that's probably my favorite right now is You Came. Oh, wow. So what about you? Can you choose? I know that's such a tough question.
I think probably one of my favorite songs is I'm So Blessed. I don't know if you've heard of it, but a lot of youth choirs sing it and stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have heard that. That sounds really cool.
It says in it, I don't know if you've seen on my blog, but like underneath Willowy Whisper, it says the pen of a writer. It's like my little catchphrase thing. I don't know, but like it came from that song because it says like if the pen of the writer could write every word, not even this world could even contain how much I've been blessed. Something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like I love that song.
Yeah. Here's a question that made me laugh. How many have you guys watched the Beverly Hillbillies?
Years ago, like 1 episode.
I know that my grandma had for a while. She doesn't really have a TV anymore. She had a TV for a while and then she got rid of it. But she had this oldies channel and it would just play all those old black and white shows. And the Beverly Hillbillies came on a couple of times and I was like, this is very creative. Like it just, it's unique for sure. So here's a question that I just wanted to ask you personally. Where do you find, actually, I think someone might have asked this too. Where do you find like your writing inspiration? Like maybe what do you do when you're experiencing writer's block, or what is it that you find motivates you the most to want to write and like give you story ideas and stuff, since we're both fiction writers?
That's a hard question. Like, I don't know, like I just enjoy it, like, and I just like think the stuff up, you know, like there's not really, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I get that question a lot. Like, where did you get the idea for this? Or how did you, what inspired you for that? And it's like, it's really hard to say because it's just, to me, I kind of feel like the stories have just sort of always been inside of you. Like, I know that when I was little, I was just like a very creative child and always coming up with different story ideas and stuff. And so I think it just kind of carried over into my adulthood, and it's like it's just part of who you are. So it's not like you have to go trying to dig up inspiration. It's just there. And obviously I think for us being children of God, like he's so creative. I mean, God created the entire universe. He's obviously so full of creative energy, and I know that I get my creative energy from him. And so I would definitely say that he's the source of the inspiration and the ideas, because like sometimes I'll be working on something. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but just working on something and you get stuck. You know, it's like you get to the climax of your plot and you're like, well, I just got my characters into a terrible situation and now I literally have no idea how to get them out of it.
How did that happen?
Yes. And so that's when it's just like the Lord will just drop like a brilliant idea into your mind and the puzzle pieces will come together. And it's like, yes, thank you, Lord. Like I could not have answered that problem on my own.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to check your questions. Okay, we've got a couple more questions. We've got, do you like the new Disney live action movies? What do you think about the Disney live action movies? Have you seen any of them? I think they did Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Is that all they done? Or did they? I think they did the Jungle Book too, maybe.
Yeah, I saw all of those. I actually really enjoyed them.
Yeah, my favorite, I love Cinderella. I'm a Cinderella girl, and Cinderella really blew me away. Like just the palace and the outfits, just everything. I loved Cinderella so much. Yeah. So yes, that actually reminds me of another question we got earlier. Somebody asked, what Disney movie have you seen more than 4 times?
Probably a lot of them. Probably most of them. Most of the cartoon ones I watched a lot when I was little.
Yeah, for sure. I know maybe the question should have been, which Disney movies have you seen more than like 400 times? Because I know when I was little, I watched so many of those for sure. And of course, I still do. Like, I still love Cinderella. Cinderella is truly, she's my favorite. So who is your favorite Disney princess?
Snow White was my favorite.
Snow White. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's funny because Olivia Fisher, I didn't even look at the comments, but she asked, who's your favorite Disney princess? So we answered your question without even knowing. So one of the questions that I got earlier from you guys was, did you cry during writing animation? And The Coronation is my newest novel. Actually, it's my first novel. It is my first and my newest. And it's a little bit dramatic, but I don't think I actually cried at any points. Reading through it afterwards, there were a couple of times where I clutched my heart and I was like, oh, it's so dramatic. But no, I didn't actually shed any tears. The only tears that were shed was like during the process of like the publishing and getting negative reviews. Like that's when the tears come, not when you're writing.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So how about you? Have you ever been like so into one of your stories that you really started crying?
I can think of a couple scenes that like I got choked up and stuff and like came to my eyes, but like I never like full-fledged cried, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them were like just so sad that like I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, like oftentimes when you do things to your characters, like I know I've been accused of some things that are kind of cruel. Like authors just kind of get a vibe for like when somebody loves a character and they're like, they don't want anything to happen to it. If you do something to that character or they face like a serious challenge in their life, then people can be like, oh no, I can't believe you did that. And so it's just kind of part of the process, like part of the job description is like, you guys have to know that these characters are going to go through stuff. Like, I know y'all want them just to be safe and never experience anything, but then where's the story? Where's the adventure? So they have to go through things.
Right, yeah.
So who would you say your all-time favorite character is that you have created in your book series or series is multiple series? Who's your like top favorite?
Oh my goodness. I'm trying to think. I really like Jacob Lamore in my last novel, Only Children Chase Sawdust. He was one of my favorite characters.
Okay.
I don't know. I like all of them.
Yeah, I know. It's so hard to choose favorites. It feels like choosing favorite children. It's just like,
right. Yeah. Like, I love all of them.
Yeah. So Olivia Fisher asked, do you have any recommendations for deciding what to do after high school when writing's your passion, but you're not sure what kind of career you want to pursue? That's a really, really good question. And I think a question that all authors ask themselves. So do you want to start kind of sharing what your experience has been like?
Well, like with me, I just graduated and a couple of days ago I just started college. For me, like since like I do like writing and like everything I like is like at home and stuff, I decided to do it online because it's more at my own pace and which I still work, but I still have a lot of time at home like that I can, you know, still keep up with my writing and stuff.
Right.
But like where I do cover services and create covers for authors, that's what I'm doing my degree in because it's also helping with that, which is part of my writing and my design. Like it's all part of Willowy Whispers, you know.
Like your brand and everything.
Yeah.
Right. That's really cool. Yeah, I love that you asked that question because I really feel like that's a struggle of everyone, like, because every author has the dream of being a full-time author. Like you can just write all day long and, you know, or like a best-selling author and everything. And the truth is that it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And so, for me, what happened was after I graduated high school, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life because I've always been a huge dreamer and there are so many different things that I wanted to do and wanted to pursue. Like, yes, I'm passionate about writing, but that's not the only thing. There are a lot of other passions that I do have in my life. And so I was like, Lord, where do I even begin? I truly don't know like where to start. And so, so I just was praying and talking to the Lord about it, and I really felt like he just told me, like, what do you want to do? Like, if you could do anything, what would you want to do? And I was like, oh my goodness, I would love to start a magazine. I think that would be so much fun, because there's just not a lot of positive content out there for young women, especially. Like, we're always being bombarded with so much garbage and things from the enemy. And so that was where I started. Well, actually, I did take some writing classes online because I knew that I was interested in writing. And I really kind of felt, honestly, I sort of felt pressure. Guys, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to college? Are you going to school? Like, what are you doing? And I just felt a lot of pressure. And so I was like, okay, I'll just take some classes. And honestly, there's nothing wrong. Like, I would totally, like, I encourage people to go to school and everything. Like, that's totally awesome. But it's like, just don't feel pressured into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just follow God's will for your life. And if it does happen to be something different than college, like, be confident in that and be okay with that. But, you know, obviously, like, learning about your craft and learning about what you want to be doing with your life is huge. So, you know, do take the writing classes and do learn what you can. But also, if you can learn other skills too and things that can help kind of pay for your living and stuff while you're building up your writing profile, because it takes a while and it's just a process. And so just, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give you is just don't be afraid. Like, don't be afraid of pursuing your dreams, and don't feel like it has to happen all at once. Like, you can take baby steps. Like, you can totally go to school and write at the same time and just, you know, slowly make your way into it. And so hopefully that's my encouragement to you, or to anyone out there who wants to write but maybe doesn't feel like they have the time, or they have to do other things, you know, like to pay their bills and stuff, which is very important. And so, yeah, just follow God's leading for your life. And he is so good and faithful to make a way for you and to show you, like, step by step what you're supposed to be doing. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit. Let's see. Hannah says, what book are you reading at the moment?
It's called, oh goodness, what is the name of that? I just started it, so I can't really, Walk by Faith, that's it.
Okay. So is it a fiction book, or is it like a devotional?
It's a fiction book, yeah.
Okay, cool. So is it like modern or historical?
It's yeah, it's set back then. It's about a wagon train.
Oh, cool. That's fun. Yeah. So I always feel really bad admitting this, but I don't do a whole lot of reading. I feel like I do far more writing than I do reading. I have a couple devotionals and things I'm reading right now, of course, but then as far as fiction goes, I got a couple of books on Kindle just to kind of see, like, what's out there and what other people are reading, and just to kind of explore, because it's been a long time since I've read fiction from other authors, just because there hasn't been a lot out there that I've, like, really been drawn to or enjoy all that much. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to check out some different titles and stuff. So I'm trying to remember again the titles of what I was checking out. The Ion Chronicles, or the Ion, I think it is. I just started reading, and that's been pretty interesting. It's kind of like a fantasy story. And also, I just picked up one from an indie author that's called The Blood Race, and it's like kind of a sci-fi story. And I've only read, like, the first chapter, so I don't know if those books really count as, like, what I'm reading, because I really haven't read them yet. So yeah, I do a lot more writing than I do reading. So what about you? Do you write more or read more? Or both?
I would say, I don't know. I do a lot of both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good to have that good balance, for sure. I'm hoping this fall, when things slow down a little bit, to get more into reading, because, like, I'm so encouraged by other authors, and, like, every time you do read other people's writing, like, it helps you just like basic things like sentence structure and just ways that they're creative with their words, that inspires you to be like, oh, maybe I could try this style or that. So that's something I need to do more of, is read other people's writing. Okay. So let's see. Hannah says, I love thinking of stories. Whenever I go to put them on paper, I can never get my stories to come out how I want them to. Do you have any advice? Oh, that is the problem I think that we all have. So, what do you have to say about that? Any advice for her?
I don't know, like just read
It's
more. I mean, see how they do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of a form of writer's block. Like, I know sometimes I'll have like a really good idea that will come at the most inconvenient moment, like when I'm driving or like in the shower or something or going to sleep. And then from that point, like, so I understand what you're saying, Hannah, like where you would have that and then you're like, you go to write and nothing comes out. So I think the biggest thing I would say about that is try and see if you can separate the creativity of writing from the work of writing. Because I know, like, if I have a really good idea, if I go down to write it, but if I feel like it has to be perfect, it just doesn't work. And so if you can kind of separate that and just like imagine the scene as vividly as you can in your mind, like, and just kind of maybe jot down notes. Like, that's something I've been doing recently, is like envisioning a scene and then like trying to picture the character in your head and then maybe just make a couple notes about what they look like or how you want the readers to feel. And then after you write out those notes, then like go back and form your sentences and do like the hard work of writing. Like, if you can enjoy the creative part on the front end, which is just envisioning and imagining what it looks like, kind of watching the TV show in your head, so to speak, then I think that helps, for me anyway, then to go back and actually form a real sentence and be like, this is how this sentence should go. So that's just kind of something I've been experimenting with lately, because I definitely understand that struggle of it just doesn't come out the way that you want it to. But I think that's how it is for all authors. And you just have to keep working at it and reworking at it. And remember, the first draft is just a draft. Like, it's okay if it's terrible. It is okay. Like, just to get it out of your system, just to get something on paper. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Just start. And then that's what editing is for. And I'm not a huge fan of editing, but but that is what it's for. So if you can just kind of separate the work from the fun, hopefully that'll help you a little bit in that. So yeah. Okay. So Bethany says, do you all like World War II historical fiction? World War II.
I've never read much in that time period, actually.
Yeah, me neither. You know, I don't know if you guys used to read the American Girl books. When I was little, I read, like, the American Girls had all these different historical time periods, and so there was one character who was in World War II. So I read her books, but no, I really haven't read a lot of World War II books. But I know that that's like a super popular genre and a super popular point in time and everything. So that's cool. Okay, and Beth also asks, does anyone know of Trisha Goyer? That name sounds so familiar, but I don't know where I've heard it. I know it sounds really familiar. Yep, nope, she's shaking her head. Okay, cool. So Beth, if you want to say who she is, maybe we can check her out later. And I'm sure she's an author, but I'm not sure where I've heard her. Hannah says, have you girls read Cinder? I haven't. I think I've seen that on Goodreads. Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I've seen the cover. Isn't it like a shoe or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, of course it got my attention because it's about Cinderella, or I'm assuming like a spin of Cinderella. Anything with a glass slipper is going to get my attention. So that's cool. Yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to see what other questions we have. I have some more earlier questions. So I wanted to ask you, we were talking about this last night. I wanted to ask you, we've kind of had different self-publishing journeys because, like, we've both self-published various books, and I thought it was interesting talking to you that you use a different platform. Kind of the typical platform that a lot of authors use is CreateSpace. So do you want to tell us about what you use and why you like it?
I use Blurb, and it's like the printing quality is really, really good on it. Like, I've been very impressed with, like, I just love the paper, the binding, like the way everything feels, and they're always like, they always ship it to me like when they're supposed to, and I haven't really had any trouble with them. Like, in the beginning, it was difficult to upload your documents and stuff. You kind of copy and paste the whole thing, which was very difficult. But since then, they've lowered their price, and they fixed it to where you can just upload your whole novel, and it's basically done. So now it's like super easy, and it's less expensive, and then like it's still a great quality. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's
awesome. So I wanted to just mention that because I know people ask a lot of like self-publishing questions, and just wanted to let you guys know that there are other options out there. Like if you've looked at CreateSpace and you don't like it, check out Blurb, like, or other, just explore different things because there's like so many things out there. And so I just wanted to mention that you do something a little bit different, and I think that's really cool. So my other question for you that I was going to ask, oh goodness, I totally lost it. It'll come back. But it was a good question, so I hope it comes back because, what was it? Okay, so, all right, Beth is explaining, I believe, who Tricia Goyer is. She says she writes World War II historical fiction and nonfiction Christian books and Amish, so that's who she is. She's an author. Hannah says paperback or hardback, so she's probably asking about your blurb. Do you do paperback or hardback?
I mostly do paperback. I have done hardback, and it comes back really nice too.
Oh,
but like
cool.
they're more expensive, so
Yeah.
I pretty much go with the paperback to sell and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. So thank you. That reminded me of my question for you. My question is, how did you get into graphic designing and cover design? Because I know that you offer that as a service to people. So how did you kind of get involved with that? And just tell us about that.
I used to like well, like I love photography. Like I'm a amateur photographer and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
It's more of a hobby. But like for a long time, like I would create my covers and stuff through like paint and using my own photography and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, it wasn't offering, like I couldn't find any editing program that was offering what I needed. So I
Mm-hmm.
finally just
Yeah.
broke down and got Photoshop, and
Oh,
I took
good.
classes for it, and like I just kept working with it and stuff, and then I started creating my covers, and once I started creating my own covers, I kind of I wanted to like be able to do it for other people, and so I fixed it up on my blog, and so I've been pretty good with it. Like I really enjoy it, and I like seeing other authors with the cover that I created on their book.
Yeah,
It's
that's got to be
exciting.
really cool. That's very fun, for sure. So I'm checking to see what other questions we got earlier in the day. I think, let's see. They're like scattered all over my phone, so I'm trying to find. There was another one here. Oh, okay. If you could be one of your characters for a day, which one would you choose and why?
Hmm. I would probably choose um Lacey in The Letter. She's
Uh-huh.
she's a woman that fell in love with Brock. She's just really meek, and she's like she doesn't really have like what you'd call like a lot of problems. Like I wouldn't want to be one of my characters because
With
a
all
lot
their
of bad things
issues.
happen. But she's had a pretty smooth life, and fell
That's
in love
good.
with this handsome guy. She'd be an ideal character to be.
Nice life. Yeah. That's really cute. I love that you chose someone who, is not, they're not going through all the drama
Right.
necessarily. That's cool. So for me, oh, that's really hard. I would say probably from the Coronation, I would probably say Princess Chastity. I really love her character, and she loves horses, so they have like some really cool horses, and I think that would be fun to like. First of all, live in the palace would be a blast, and then to ride the horses, and also she had some interesting things happen to her too, and so I think she'd be a fun one, a fun
Right.
character to be. Yeah. So. All right, let's see if you guys have any other questions here. Okay, so I think, I'm trying to find you guys over here. Okay, so again, if you guys have questions, feel free. I think we've come to the bottom of your questions in case, unless it's just like not refreshing or something, but I think that's all of your questions that I have right now. So let me see some of the things that we were talking about the other nights, because we were just kind of discussing different things. And so have you been to any writers' conferences?
No, I have not.
Okay. Are you Are you wanting to go to writers conferences someday, or has that not really been something that you are interested in?
I've looked into it and stuff. I just never have done it. I mean, I would like to go, especially like um more to get in with like publishers and getting more contact like with the whole writers world, like
Right.
maybe agents and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I haven't gone into any so far.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I have not been to any writers conferences either, but it looks like there are some really fun, interesting ones out there. So I have a question for you guys, the viewers. Have you guys been to any writers conferences? Because I know that a few of you are writers, I believe. And so I'd love to know if you guys have been to any writers conferences. So we have another question, and I'm probably going to butcher the name here. I apologize in advance. But Darby, I'm really sorry. I just ruined your name. Says, any tips on how to choose good titles for your stories? I struggle with that a lot. Good titles.
I don't know. Like sometimes I think like the shorter they are, like the more catchier they are. Like sometimes long titles are kind of boring. Some, I guess, but
yeah, I would agree. I think the cute, like little tiny titles are sort of fun, but it does kind of require you to be a little bit more witty because it's like you have this huge novel or whatever that you're trying to just take a little tidbit from it. Yeah, which is a challenge. So, as far as my titles, I don't usually, when I start the book, I don't usually know what the title is. Like, at that point, I don't really care. I'm just, writing the story. Like, for example, for the coronation, the original title or the working title or whatever was just called The Royal Family. And obviously that sounds like a very lame name, but it was just something to be able to title my Word document and just save it, So I'd say in the beginning, like, don't worry about it. But, and also something that I've noticed too, like, is as you're writing, like, sometimes you'll notice a reoccurring theme that will keep popping out throughout the story. So maybe if you wait until the end of your writing or until you're done editing to title it, then you'll like read through it again and be like, whoa, this is really sticking out to me right now. Maybe this is what I should title it, So maybe that'll help. Yeah, I don't usually pick the titles until after. And then I agree with you, like little short ones I like better are kind of fun. So, yep. Okay, so Hannah says, what other creative hobbies do you like?
I like playing the guitar and the piano. Like I said before, photography and I like doing that. And trying to think. I think that's it.
Yeah, well, those are all very creative things. So that's fun. I would say I love songwriting, singing, playing guitar. Yeah, mostly singing and writing songs. Like, I love doing that. Creative hobbies, yeah, that's probably about it as far as creative stuff. But when you're a writer, like, your brain is going most of the time on your story anyway, so it would be hard to fit in like other creative hobbies, I'm sure. Although I know some people are like just super talented and they are like painters, or they enjoy sketching or drawing and stuff. I'm not really necessarily talented in that area. Yeah, so I just kind of stick to writing and songwriting. So, all right, let's see. Olivia Fisher says that she has been to Realm Makers, which is a writer's conference, which she said was so amazing. I would love to go to Realm Makers. Like, I just found out about it a couple months ago, but it looks incredible. Alex says, nope, no clue where they even hold those things, the writing conferences. They have writing conferences like all over the country, except for Michigan, apparently. No, I think they do have some around here, like not nearby, but anyway. So they do have lots and lots of amazing writing conferences. Like, if you just Google Christian writers conferences, there are so many that come up, and it looks like some really incredible conferences to be a part of. So you never know, there might be one happening where you live. Okay. Darby says, I've never been to any writers' conferences and don't know of any near me. P.S. My screen name is Elvish. Lots of people mispronounce my name. That is okay. All right. I'm glad to know that. So I'll just call you E now, okay? Because I'm not sure how to say your name, but it's a very cute screen name. I like it. So now a question for you guys, since there are a few of you on here that I think I've talked to you before, probably like on Goodreads or whatever, but I would love to know, first of all, how many of you are like authors or writing or enjoy writing stories? Raise your hand if you guys are into writing. Secondly, how many of you have read The Coronation? And third, how many of you have read any of Willowy Whisper's books? I would just be curious to know kind of who we have here and what you guys have done or whatever. So if you guys want to share those things in the comments, and of course, we'd love to answer more of your questions. And I'm going to check my Instagram and see if I got any questions on there. And I feel like there was another one that I'm missing. I knew that I should have written out these questions before as I was getting ready. I was like, I really should just get my notebook and write down the questions. I was like, nah, I'll look at my phone. It'll be fine. So sorry for the delay with looking these up on my phone. But yeah, let's see here. I think we answered those three, right? And then there was one more over here. Okay. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. Would you ever consider writing in a different genre than what you've already been writing in? Like, would you ever branch out into another genre? And if so, which one would you pick?
Like I told you the other night, like I kind of do my experimenting on short stories and stuff and try like different stuff. So, but for a novel, if I was going to do a different time period than what I'm used to writing, like, because I'm familiar like with back then old fashioned Western theme. If I was gonna do a different time period for a novel, it would either be a modern one, or I really like the old Scottish era, like like talk with the accent, which I've actually written a couple short stories like where they have the accent. Like I just enjoy like doing the accent, like imagining everything in that time period. But I think it's cute.
For sure. Yeah, I've always been super fascinated with that time period. It's just like it's very whimsical and just dreamy. Yeah. It's fun. So I everything that I've written, I keep saying everything. It's like I have one book, but here's the girl with like 17 and I've got one. So anyway, I've done modern Christian fiction, but I'm actually kind of just like in my own personal writing, experimenting with different things. And I wouldn't say that it's straight up sci-fi, but it's getting kind of close. Like I would never envision myself as a sci-fi writer, but lately the stuff that I've been writing, it's like, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know, you guys might see me in sci-fi later. I have no idea. We'll see, but I would love to branch out into historical fiction. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, we'll see if that ever happens in the future. And then also fantasy is really fun too. I don't know. There's so many possibilities. Like you could literally do anything, which would be super fun. So one question that I just thought of for you is, you say that you write short stories, and I really don't. I've written a few like when I was younger, but I really haven't written any short stories recently. What do you like better? Do you like writing novels or short stories better?
Well, like there's pros and cons to each. Like a short story, I love it because like I can just like sit down and I don't really even have to have a plot in my head. Like sometimes I'll just sit down and just start writing like and not even know what I'm gonna do. And like it's an odd feel because I'm not gonna put a year of my life into it. So like I just kind of experiment and like do like different things and like I said, different like time periods and stuff. But like with a novel, like you really get into your characters' lives, and there's like you can have like go so much deeper and like there's more depth to it. So like that part I like better about writing novels and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, that was something I was going to ask you. Short stories. Like one of the reasons I don't like doing them is because I feel so limited and I feel like
Right.
there's such a restraint on what you can do. And I love detail and I love like going into like deeper for like problem after problem after problem. And so for me thinking about doing a short story, it's like I don't even know if I could do that. I mean, I know we can, it's
Right.
possible. But but so I was gonna ask you like, do you plan out, a beginning, middle, and end? But you said with your short stories, you just kind of wing it and have fun.
Yeah,
So that leads into my next question. Do you plan your plots ahead of time? Like, do you do a lot of preparation or do you just sit down and write by the seat of your pants?
well, like with my novels, I pretty much before I start, like I think the whole thing through, like the whole main idea through, and then
Hmm.
I go through and write a really, really, really general outline,
Okay.
like usually a page or two, just that I can like kind of go back and see what I was gonna have happen, just the major things usually,
Yeah.
and because my second novel, because like I told you, I've written 7 and published 6. Well, the reason I didn't publish my second novel was because I didn't have a plot, and so it flopped. Like
Oh.
it was, yeah, it was. I didn't let my mom edit it because I wanted to write the whole thing and then let her read it. And like
Uh-huh.
I was new at it, and I didn't have a good outline. Like I just barely had an idea, and so it got crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I definitely now I'm a firm believer in outlines, even if it's only a little bit, because that way you
Yeah.
keep yourself in line.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of one of my fears is like that I will forget about something that's really important
Right,
and then just like leave everybody hanging and be like, oh, sorry, I forgot
right,
about that. So that's what beta readers are good for. Like they catch stuff like that. I know that in the coronation is kind of interesting. Actually, I should check y'all's comments and see who's actually read it and whatnot. But it's such a huge story. I mean, it's 460 pages. So there's a lot happening and there's a lot of characters and there's just a lot going on. And someone asked such a good question. They asked at a certain point of the story, I'm not going to give anything away, what happened to the dog? And it was just like, I was like, that is such a good question because you're thinking about so many different details and
right.
catching up with this character and that character and just making sure everything's good. But then it's like you never see really the dog again. And it's like, that is a good catch. Like that's I never just stuff that your beta readers are good for because it's like, thank you. I really wouldn't have ever thought about where the dog
Right.
was at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to catch up with you guys. Let's see here. Okay, so Olivia says, I'm a writer. I haven't read any of yours or Willowy's books, but they're definitely high on my TBR list. That's awesome. I'm going to give you a digital high five. E says, I write on Goodreads and I'm under the name EFB. Okay, I remember you.
Yeah.
Hannah says, I like writing, however, I'm not very good at it and I don't let any of my family read it. E says, I haven't read Willowy's books yet, but I'd like to. Olivia says, yes, Scottish. Scottish accents are the best. That's fun. Okay, cool. So, and it looks like Olivia says high fives back. Cool. All right. So, yeah, so do you guys have any more questions? We're probably going to wrap things up here in a little bit, but we would love to talk about really whatever you guys want to talk about. It's so fun for us just like getting to know you girls better. And it's kind of fun because I think most of you are from Goodreads, which is fun because like I said, Goodreads is kind of my new favorite place. Oh, that reminds me. I've been running a giveaway on Goodreads for the coronation. So if you haven't read it yet and you're interested in checking it out, today is the last day. Like this evening is the last time you can enter the giveaway. So if you guys want to enter it, I think all you have to do is just go to my page. And if you scroll down, I believe it's at the bottom. Otherwise, I think you can just search for it. So if you guys are interested in entering to get like an autographed paperback copy of the coronation, I think today is the last day to enter the giveaway if you guys want to do that. And my other thing I wanted to let y'all know too, which a lot of people don't know because the way that it worked out was weird. Like somehow somebody somehow I was on Goodreads before I was actually on Goodreads. Like, so I couldn't go in as Livy because like there was already, my name was on there. So I went in as Olivia. And so some of my works, like Regal Hearts, for example, like I cannot add it to my page to show that it's me, like it's connected to something else. And so anyway, so for those of you who don't know what Regal Hearts is, it's just like a Kindle book that's on sale for 99 cents right now until September 1st. So if you guys are like, oh, I want to check something out, but I don't want to spend money, if you have like Amazon Prime, it's free to read, or you can read it for 99 cents. So if you want to look up Regal Hearts, feel free to do that. Okay, so Olivia says, thank you so much for hosting this. It has been a blast. And E says, thank you, ladies. I'm so glad that you all could join. And I hope to do more live chats in the future. As you can see, we're just kind of getting this started. There's just a few of you here hanging out with us tonight. We did one, I believe it was last week with my friend Bella, to kick it off and really just test, make sure that we didn't have technical difficulties because it's a little bit complicated just getting everything set up. And so I'm planning to do more of these live chats with different authors throughout the fall. So if you guys also, I feel like I'm just rambling here, but I have an important question for you guys. If I were to contact different authors to have to do a live chat with, who are some of your favorite authors? Or they can be indie authors, or they can be published authors that maybe we could reach out to and see if they're interested in being part of our live chat. As things continue to grow, it would be fun to kind of keep this going. So if you guys have any suggestions of authors, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can message me later on Instagram or on Goodreads. And we're going to be doing one in the future, I believe, with Ashley. I don't want to butcher her last name, Ashley Bogner, who just released her new book. And I think we're going to have another one with Rachel Cobb. And so we've got some fun people lined up for the future. So yeah, if you want to subscribe, that way you get notifications when we're having more live chats. You can totally do that. And wow, I feel like I just talked like for a very long time. So, Willowy, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Is there anything else that you want to say? Any final words of encouragement for the writers out there?
No, just keep writing.
Just keep writing. Yes, that is the best thing. Just don't give up. Keep going. Just keep making progress every day, little by little, and it's going to be great. So thank you guys again so much for joining us tonight, and we hope you guys have a lovely evening. All right, bye.
Bye, thank you.